friends, welcome back to my channel. So I'm actually getting a late start this morning. Well, not a late start, but I had to go pick up my daughter from cross country, and so I was late getting to school, and our meeting started at 8:30. We're taking a break right now, so I thought I would show you some things that I bought yesterday. I kind of went on a spending crazy I don't know. I went kind of nuts yesterday. So I went to Walmart, I went to Michael's, I went to Joann Fabrics. Oh, I left the fabric in the car. I need to go get that. And then I ordered from Amazon last night. So let me show you what I got. So no big deal. Just a couple things of copy paper. Now is the best time to buy copy paper because it's so cheap. It was like $3 for one big pack. So I just went ahead and picked up 2 packs to have here in the room. I went ahead and got these from Michael's. I'm going to try to find them at Target too because they're cheaper. But I think they're only cheaper by $1, so I may not worry about it. Anyway, I went ahead and picked up 2 of these just to start my collection. These are primary notebooks. I love these. They're expensive, $2 each. But I went ahead and got them for my students for journal writing because I still want them to journal and it not be electronic. So I went ahead and got those. I don't know if I'm going to need them, but they're there. If not, I'll use them in the next year. I got more bins, so yay for that. I can get some more books out. And then I picked up another pair of scissors because I seem to be losing scissors all over the place. So another pair of scissors, and then I got some magnets to hang things. And then I got these orange folders so that I could load up. Let me show you what these look like. So I made last night, I got all of these stuffed. So I just got the plasticky ones so that I could wipe them, keep them clean, wipe them periodically. And then here are our working mats. So this is our working mat folder. Sorry about the glare. Working mat folder so they have their ABC chart, blends and digraphs, a comparing mat, a circle map, hangman, a describing mat. Then we have the math section, number bonds, dominoes, 10 frame, 2 10 frames, number line, and I know that these go back and forth, but I don't care. So the 0 to 20 number line, and then a 100 chart. So those are finished. I have all of them done. I have 16 done here, and so I just put extra copies that I had. It's kind of a hodgepodge of extra copies in one, and I'll just put that in my closet. But those are completed, so yay for that. Okay, so I wanted to show you what I was working on while I was listening to our meeting. So I had this big crate. I can't remember anything anymore. Crate of just kind of random books. So I kind of went through it, pulled a couple out. I don't know if you can see those over there or not. I had those. I went ahead and finished my crate seats. I showed you guys those. Those crates were much smaller than this one. For a minute, I panicked because I thought I bought the wrong size wood. And then I realized this was like an oversized crate. It's much longer. So I got my crate seats done. I know that there's 3 white and 1 blue. My intention was to have 2 blue, but I didn't realize that I bought that. So I'm just going to roll with it. It is what it is, right? So I pulled out some books while I was doing that, and I wanted to get the labels printed, but I wanted to show you guys how I keep this set up so that as I'm buying new books, I just have to get a label out. So I just have a file folder in my filing cabinet that I keep, and I printed all of the labels that Jay Meacham had, or that I had categories for. I have like packs of them here. And then that way, as I buy a new book, I just take the label off and put it straight on the book, and I can put it straight in the shelf. And then I had all of these. These are my old ones. I had all of these that I had made for my other bins before, but as you can see, I don't need those anymore. So I'm working on fixing those. This is one that I need to redo. I already did the little golden book, so I'm just going to chunk these after I do it, so I'm not keeping that. But yeah, I just keep all of the labels, and so, you know, Scholastic Book Fair comes and I buy books, I am able to just go to my drawer, and get a label and put it straight on the book and file it straight into that bin or into my cabinet, and it's already got a label on it. I had a ton of math books that, I mean, that's a huge stack, that I collected. So I've got to do that one, and I'm going to go ahead and put those out. Again, we don't have any direction, zero, on what we're doing, so I am just going to roll with it and make my plan. So I've talked with a couple other teachers, and this is what we're thinking. We're going to let our students shop for books, but we're not going to let them touch all of the books. I'm going to be the one that's touching the books, and I will physically put them in their book bin, and then they will have those books for at least a week, maybe two, and then when they're done, they will go in a quarantine bin, and they will stay there untouched for several weeks, and then I will file them back up. I have so many books, I think I can do that. Unless we get some kind of other direction, we've kind of thought that might be the easiest. And plus, my books, I can, when they go in the quarantine bin, I can go through and I can wipe them down, and then they can stay in that bin untouched for a couple weeks, and then I can file them back into circulation. Again, I'm going to be the only one touching the books until they go into the child's book bin, and then once they're in the child's book bin, they'll stay in that book bin for a week or two, and then I will be taking them out, wearing gloves obviously, and quarantine them, wipe them down, and keep them safe. I want my students to have books in their hands. It's so important. So I think that will work. Leave me a comment below and let me know what you're thinking for your books. If you're not even going to pull them out, if your kids are all digital, if you've got kind of the same plan as what we do, what we're thinking, let me know. So I'm going to get back to this. I'm going to go print off some more labels, some more math labels. Those are pretty easy. She's got those available on her website. So all I do is put a label thing in my printer and print those off. And I'm going to check my cabinet because that's what I'm doing. I wanted my students to be able to shop for books, you know, like I said. And so I just want them to have a large amount of books to look through, or for me to kind of pick through for them. So I'm going through, obviously I'm not going to put my math start books in there because I don't want those. So I went into my cabinet. I told you before, let me flip the camera around. Let the sound adjust. Okay, so I told you before that I organize my books in my cabinet by time of year approximately / theme, just to make it easier. So even if I'm teaching something that's kind of at a random thing to teach, a random theme, I can just go directly, I know where it's at, and pull it. So at the beginning of all of this up to now, all of that space was all of my back to school books. So, and then I have like farm, apples, pumpkins, etc. So I just pulled out all of that, and now I'm going to go through them. Most of them are sorted, but I'm going to go through them, and I'm going to pull out the ones that I will let my students have in their hands, and then the ones that I teach with every year, those are going to go on my shelf over there. Because even if I'm doing virtual learning, I'm going to have them organized to the ones that I absolutely have to teach with. And then this way I can go to these book bins. So let me flip you around and tell you what is. If we're doing virtual learning, let's say something happens and the school gets shut down, the class gets shut down, we don't start on time, whatever, and we are all on virtual learning. If I have my books separated like that, the ones that I absolutely teach from, it will help me to organize my lessons a little bit more versus having just a big bin. Like during distance learning, I just had a big bin of books, and some of them I taught with and some of them I wanted just my students to have access to, and I would do like read alouds with and that sort of thing. So if I have them organized that way, and let's say we're doing distance learning, then I can put the bins, the ones that are in my blue bins, I can read those aloud and put that video up for my students so they can just listen to it. I can try to find that video somewhere for my students, or I can see if it's on Epic or books or something like that. I know that those are books that I want my students to read if it interests them, and it's there, and it'll be in a separate spot on our online website, on our digital site, versus ones that I specifically want to teach skills from. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going through all of those books and I'm pulling out ones that I want them to listen to and enjoy and start to develop that love for reading, and then ones that I absolutely have skills and strategies that I use to teach from. And then also this helps me get my brain wrapped around the books that I want to purchase to go with those types of units so that I can diversify my collection a little bit more. I talked about that in one of my classroom setup videos about how I want to get more diverse books. I'll try to put a card up here, somewhere. I'll try to put a card up there of that video, and because I want to get more diverse books for my students to read. So this kind of helps me get that organized as well. So let me show you what I'm going to do. Or I have the school themed books, alphabet books, and colors, kind of what we touch on at back to school time. I have some all about me stuff too, but I don't really have enough for a collection. You know, like the Name Jar and Chrysanthemum and I Like Myself, that sort of thing. I don't have enough to put in their hands for a collection of those yet. So I don't pull those out. So I've got like this one. This is one that I don't teach anything specific out of, and if I found something specific, I could always pull it, but like I don't teach anything, so that would go in the bin. This one I need to put a label on, so I'm going to put it to the side. Okay. This one I actually have 2 copies from. I actually do teach a lesson from this, so I'm going to pull that one out. And then these 2 I don't teach a lesson from. They're just, you know, fun books, things that might interest them. Again, just another fun one, same as this one. This one I used to teach a lesson from, but it's been years because there's so many other really good books, so I don't teach it from there anymore. Again, with that one. Oh, there's the other companion to that one, so I always pull those to the side. I do let them have them after I'm done. Another one I need a label on, and that's it for that. So this whole stack can go in the bin. I know they will have access to it, and we're going to move on. Oh, I have a bunch of books. We don't really teach specifically in first grade. I used to do a whole fire safety unit. I'm going to go ahead and create a thing for that, so I'm going to put those down there for right now. So then we have colors. Mouse paint, I actually teach a lesson with this. It's, you know, an oldie but goodie. I do have the big book for it. So if my students are in class, then I would use the big book, but we'll see. I'm just gonna put it to the side. I need to get a label on that one. That's another colors one. I used to use these specifically, all of these little color books. I used to use those specifically. Oh, that one's backwards. For lessons, and I would make the little books for them, and they would color them and all of that fun stuff. But oh my gosh, they're all twisted. Okay, so anyway, they will all just go in. And there's another color one, so let me just pull up that whole stack. Goes in colors. There's another one, goes in colors. I'm kind of rambling, I don't really know. This is the crayon box that talked. This is actually a really, really cute story. But again, it's not one that I can actually, I'm sure I can teach something from it. I'm sure I can find skills from it. But as far as like what my beginning of my year looks like. I don't think I'm gonna have time this year, so I'm gonna just put it in there. So I'm gonna put those down there, and then we're gonna move on. This is my stack that I normally focus on for the first couple weeks of school. I don't know what happened to this label. I need to get a new label on that one. Let me put that one down there. Okay, so these are all books. They're just great little books for them to have, to be able to put in their book bins. This is The Teacher and The Wheels on the Bus and The Incredible. That's a cool book if you haven't seen that one. The New Bear at School, and I actually do like a bullying lesson with this one for like back to school, treating each other kindly, so I'm gonna keep that one out. The Night Before First Grade, School Bus Driver, Celebrate Your Amazing Achievements, that's another one. Brand New Pencils, Brand New Books. Yeah, that's a great one. This one I had to get, this one goes in this pile because I don't let them have that one. It's just funny. I do a specific lesson from this one, so that doesn't go in. And then What a Day It Was at School, Boom Chicka Rock, Manners, all of these go in there. I do this, obviously, the first day of school, if y'all haven't read that book. It's great. These are just more, this is from when I actually taught kindergarten for that 1 year. So I keep it just because. And then we have Marley. So all of those books are going to go into the back to school bin. And they will have access to all of these if they're here. I keep these bins out pretty much through September, and then I'll switch them out for bin books that they are more interested in at that time of year. You know, in October, kids, they want to read about pumpkins and Halloween, and even though it's 7,000 degrees in Florida on Halloween, they still want to read about fall leaves changing color because they've never seen it in Florida. So, all right, so that's that. That's what I'm working on. I'm going to finish this up, and I will check in with you guys in a little bit. Hi guys, so just an update on what I've been doing. I got out my planner, my teacher planner from last year because I wanted to transfer some stuff over. This is my teacher planner from last year, although I had a different cover on it. This is just the other cover. So I'm going to flip you around and I'm going to show you what I've been doing and what I'm about to do. So, okay, so I'm trying to like using my digital planner. I did buy, let me get it out. Oh, I did buy another planner, and this is not the Happy Planner, and it's not an Erin Condren, although my cover I had custom made from Erin Condren a couple years ago when I used her planners. So that's my cover. But this is the Recollections one that I showed you. I'm pretty sure I showed you this one. Recollections. This was from Michael's. It was $17, I think, with all the discounts. But to me, it's very similar, almost identical to an Erin Condren. If I have my old Erin Condren, I can show you sometime. But so I still have this one because I went to go take it back yesterday when I went to Michael's, and I just couldn't do it. I kept saying to myself, what if I end up needing a paper planner for some reason? $17, I might as well just keep it. So I kept it, and I think I'm going to probably I may end up doing both. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. It's making the jump from a paper planner and always having this with me. It's like my safety net to just using my iPad. I don't know. But this was my one from last year. I had this cover on it, so I just transferred it over because this is the one that it came with. I mean, you can see this is plastic, and then this year they didn't do them that way. They did them in a kind of a cardboard, so they're a little different. So this is my one from last year, and I'm just transferring information over from this one. You can see I can't even use all these stickers, so I don't know. So I had, all my student information, my passwords and stuff were in here. Oh goodness. So, I mean, it was just, I was looking at trying to make sure my master schedule matched up, and you know, I put all this in, and there's just something about having it written down in a planner. Maybe I'll write it down in this planner and then transfer it over here. And then this is what I'll use for like meetings and stuff that I'm doing. I don't know then, but then what's the point? Y'all, I'm having a hard time with this. I don't know, but that's what I'm working on. So right now I know you got the light bulb glare from above me, but I'm looking at putting all my passwords in here because, you know, if you're like me, I will have 17 different accounts set up, especially now with all this digital stuff. So I want to make sure as I'm doing stuff, I'm putting that in there. And then I want to update my professional development because we've done a bunch this week. And this stuff I can't put in yet because we don't know what it is. But I am going to work on my schedule, put my schedule in, and I'm going to start. Oh, and somebody said, hey, by the way, that is Mrs. Call's planner. So yes, thank you for pointing that out. I have watched a couple of her videos on Facebook. I will tag her below because this is her planner, so my apologies. But yes, I just saw her stuff on Etsy, and then I saw her YouTube videos, and I watched a few, and I was like, oh yeah, cool. So that's my first month. I put all my stickers in, just kind of played around with it. And then I put my stickers in for subjects. And so I was gonna start trying to like jot stuff down and just play around with it. So that's the plan. That's where I'm at. I'm eating lunch. Here's my lunch. I follow keto, so this is like a antipasti salad. It's really good. And yeah, that's where I'm at. So I'm gonna get back to it, and I will see you guys in a bit. Okay, so I was going to talk to you about what I'm thinking and maybe talk it out, because sometimes just talking it out helps. So I don't know how well you can see this. Let's see. And I can't zoom in. Let me see if I can lower you a little bit. Woo! Well, if I don't drop you. Okay, that's a bit better. So our schedule is pretty much the same no matter what. We start school at 8:45. Students come in at 8:40, and we don't know yet if they're going to be eating breakfast. So I'm just going to plan this however, and then what I can do, I can use that lasso tool and I can move everything down a step if I need to add in something or change something. So that's another great thing about having it digitally. And I just realized you erased it, but that's all right. So from 8:45 to 10:15 is our ELA block on our master schedule. 10:15 to 11 is when we do our music, art, PE. 11 to 11:30 is or was writing. It was like a finish the ELA block. So that's where I put my writing. 11:30 to 12 is our enrichment time or our intervention time with our students. 12 to 12:30 is when we're supposed to do social studies. 12:32 for me to 12:57 is our lunch, and 12:57 to 1:15 is recess. Let me fix that. Ooh, that's really different. I'm gonna have to fix that. 1:15 to 2:15 is math, 2:15 to 2:45 is science, and then 2:45 to 3 is where we pack up and dismiss. So that's like our master schedule. I'm going to double check that on my computer here in a second. But what I did is I went over here and I started like breaking that down a little bit more just for my own personal benefit. But here's the thing. Last year, I would do our morning meeting, and then we would do some like phonemic awareness stuff, and first thing with our morning meeting or calendar and all that lasted until about 9 to 9:05 last year. And then I ended up doing centers first thing in the morning because my students were quieter, they were still calm, and they were way more productive. So I could send them off in centers and I would do my guided reading groups. My thought for centers this year is that we're still going to be building that into our schedule, but I don't know if I will keep it in the same spot because, again, we don't know what that's going to look like. And if I'm teaching virtually, I don't want to send my students off to do independent work when I've only met with them for like 10 minutes. And then it's like, okay, guys, I'll see you back here in an hour on our live thing. So I may have to switch that around a little bit. So I'm going to zoom in on my little magnifier here. So what I have is 8:40 to 8:45. I call it Rise and Shine. It's, when they come in and they can do a STEM bin, which I have STEM bins stuff separated. I just don't know if I'm going to use those yet. So I just have to finish putting those together and decide whether or not I'm going to use those. But that's our Rise and Shine time. That's when the students are coming in. So 8:45 is when school officially starts. We will do calendar and our morning meeting that usually went till right at 9. 9 to 9:20, I was thinking to do a reading lesson with them. 9:20 to 9:50 is when I used to do word work. I'm just kind of still working off my old schedule, is when I would do word work before I moved centers first thing. And then on my old schedule, what I had was 9:50 to 10:15, I would do a writing mini lesson. And then we had specials, and then we would finish writing. And then originally, I was going to have centers move to that spot, and then we would do fly, and then we would finish out centers. So centers would actually be broken up a little bit. I think I can still do it that way because I think I'm going to end up integrating social studies into our other stuff just because this year is going to be kind of a crazy year anyway. We'll hit social studies so much with our other, it'll just be integrated. It'll just be hit. So I think I can do it this way. I think we can do, and actually these two lessons are going to take longer. So it would be more like writing would be 11 to 11:30. But then I can't do that because that's taking away center time. Well, maybe I just do centers from 12 to 12:30 instead of social studies, because our enrichment time, so talking it out isn't helping me because the end of my day stays the same. It's all math, and then math rolls into science and STEM, and what we do at the end of the day, it's like one big giant block. It's just trying to fit centers in and make sure I'm doing writing. So I think that's why I had centers up here. I did centers from like 9 to 10:15 or 9:05 to 10:15, and then 10:15, where's my pen? Anybody else talk out their schedules like this? And then I did, oh, that pencil's broken. So then I did 10:15 to 11 was centers. Well, I'm having no luck. Or was specials. And then 11 to 11:30 was reading. And then 12 to 12:30 was word work. But where did I put? It's so hard to think back to what we did before the pandemic started in March. It's so strange to think back that far. Because I used to teach an hour solid of writing. We used to have an hour writing block, and it just doesn't seem like I can get it in. Okay, I'm going to play around with this. You guys leave me a comment and tell me what your schedule is looking like if you're doing face-to-face, because I know a lot of states are perfectly fine going back face-to-face. I think I'm going to have like 3 different schedules. One if I'm teaching virtually, and one if I'm teaching in the classroom. I guess I'm going to have to try to figure out 2 different schedules. because if we're in our classroom, we still have to do our enrichment and our intervention block, which is 30 minutes per day. And Wednesdays we dismiss early in the district. Students get out an hour early for teacher prep and planning and stuff. So Wednesdays is a bit different of a day. Wednesdays we don't teach some of this other stuff. We just basically do reading, writing, and enrichment, and then we do like our health lessons and stuff. Let me play around with the schedule, and I'll let you know if I change things. Okay, I think I got it. I think I figured it out. I knew it would just take me a little bit more time to figure it out, but I'm going to zoom in. So if I'm looking at my schedule, this is if I'm doing face-to-face. If my students are coming back, then 8:40 to 8:45 is our Rise and Shine. Let me just show you down here. 8:45 to 9 is when I will do calendar. 9 to 9:20, I will work on reading, and we'll do like a reading lesson. Actually, that'll be more like 9:25-ish. Then 9:30 to 10:15 is when I will rotate centers around for them. And we'll have a system. I haven't quite figured it out yet, but we'll have a system of how, so they're not going to be rotating around the room. It'll be me rotating things to them, and within their bin of things, within their stuff, they will have activities to do per that day that only they will be touching. So they can still do centers, but instead of working with a partner or a buddy, they will be doing centers independently. And like I said, my students are 1-to-1, so they have iPads, and we teach them right off the beginning of the year how to navigate through that iPad and through all our apps. So that's when we're going to do centers, and it'll be 45 minutes because I think that'll give me time to do 3 groups of guided reading. Probably more like 2 groups at first and then rotate into 3. So I'll just have to alternate my days and that sort of thing. And then 11 to 11:30 is when we'll do word work. Then we have our enrichment and our intervention time from 11:30 to 12. That is a block that we have to keep. We can't move it anywhere. 12 to 12:30 is writing. 12:30 to 1:15 is our lunch and recess. 1:15 to 2:15 is math. And then 2:15 to 3, I have science/social studies, because I'm thinking, because of the way this year is structured, and I'm going to go talk to my principal about this, but I think it's going to work out better if I just alternate science and social studies in the afternoons so that I can get everything else in a appropriate manner for distance learning because of the structure of our rooms. So I'm just going to move that there for now. So we'll see. But that's that schedule. And then I started working on, where did I put it? I thought I started working on this schedule. Oh, I think I was going to start it, and I thought, no, I'll plan it with you. So this is if I'm doing online learning. If I'm doing, let me move that over here. If I'm doing online learning, and my students are all online, and I'm teaching from the classroom with no other students in here, this is how my schedule, I think, is going to look, because we still have to get our number of minutes in for each subject area. So I think when I meet up with them in the morning, about 8:45 is when we check in to 9. We're still going to do our morning meeting and our calendar time. I think that's really important, especially with what's going on right now. They get those skills in. And then we're going to do, let me move that up a little bit. From 9 to 9:30, we'll do a reading lesson with an activity that they'll have to do. I might be able to put them in breakout rooms, that sort of thing. Then 9:30, because by this point they're going to need a break. They will have been on for 45 minutes and they're going to need a break. Until 10, they're going to do some independent work, like centers. I'm going to have folders set up of center activities that they can do with different things. Like I would have them divided up. They would have to do their center activities, and it's just going to be like a folder that says Center 1, Center 2. And they'll have to do those activities in there. And it might be like listen to a story and draw a picture of response, or it might be do some we have different computer programs, so go to this website and do this program for 15 minutes, that sort of thing. So it's going to be centers. And then I'm going to have them come back on at 10, and from 10 to 10:15, and I'm assuming it's going to work the same. I'm going to do like a read aloud, or I can do a little mini lesson, like a word work mini lesson. And then 10:15 to 11, I'm going to have them do some kind of physical activity. Oops, I guess it would help if I could spell today. Like PE, music, they're going to do their specials activities, and I think that they'll have stuff assigned online from a special area teacher that they'll have to go do, but they're going to have that block of time to do that. Then we're going to come back together at 11, so from 11 to 11:30, we're going to do oh, that's going to be writing time. Gosh, I lost my train of thought for a second. And then 11:30 to 12, I'm going to split them off again. So some of them are going to have, this is still going to be our intervention time. Some of them are still going to have things they're doing, and I'm going to be pulling groups. So I'll have like breakout rooms. And then 12 to 12:30, we will be doing social studies or health. And then they will get a break from 12:30 until 1:15, just like we do it here at school, to do lunch and play, so free time at home. I'm going to encourage them to go outside and play, but here in Florida, it's super hot at that time of day. Even though we would be outside at recess, kids playing at home it's just totally different. I speak from like my own children. They like to go outside first thing in the morning and play outside first thing in the morning, so that might affect my schedule here. If I actually get assigned to do online teaching, I may have them go outside and do some kind of science experiment or do some kind of physical activity first thing in the morning, because that time of the day they'll still get their lunch, but I might say like lunch and just free time, and I might give them some like 15-20 minutes outside playtime first thing in the morning up here, because it's just really hot. My own children don't like being outside at noon unless we're at the beach. And then we'll come back together from 1:15 to 2:15, and that's a very long block, but what I'm thinking is it won't actually be that long. It'll be 1:15 to like 1:40. I'll do like a whole group lesson with them in front of the camera, and then I'll send them off to do, so I'm actually going to divide that up. 1:15 to 1:40 would be our lesson, and then I'm going to send them off at from 1:40 to 2:15 to do like math rotations, and then I can meet with groups then. And I'll just meet them in breakout rooms. And then at 2:15, we'll all come back together for our end of the day science lesson. And then we'll sign off, and I will stay around for them from 2:40 to 3, or sometimes, our lesson won't go, what you put on a schedule is all fine and dandy, but we always know that there's other things that happen that make it go long. I'm sure we're going to have 1,000,001 technology issues going on, especially the first couple of weeks of school. But this is the way it's going to look. And so we are actually doing online learning for the first several weeks and it may be extended into longer. So I will have to use a schedule similar to this for the first couple of weeks. And there won't be any like independent centers at first, because I mean, there'll be independent time where I say, I want you to go write me a story or this or that. There'll be some independent time, but they won't be ready to do all of this yet. So I hope that helped you, me thinking that out loud. I hope that kind of helped you get your thoughts together, because let me change the camera, hold on. So I hope that helped you, me thinking out loud like that, because my biggest problem the last couple weeks has been trying to adapt to what this new schedule is going to look like, how it's going to look online versus back when they're face-to-face, and how the transition's going to be. And I think just writing everything out, like my schedule, everything out, now I can go in and start planning. Okay, what's the first day of school? What's our morning meeting going to look like? I'm going to introduce them to all of their calendar stuff. I'm going to do the same thing I would do if they were here in the classroom, but I'm going to have to show them the ins and outs of how to work our online system. So that whole first day is going to be, okay guys, from this time to this time, we're going to do this. From this time to this time, we're going to be looking at this. And I'm going to put some fun activities in there. I'm going to be plugging in fun activities, but it's going to be activities that are centered around how to navigate our online system. So now that I think I got my schedule laid out, now I think I can plan my day one and what that's going to look like, because we start Monday and I want to know what my schedule is going to be. And I think that this is where my actual teacher planner is going to come into play, because I think until school starts, I'm going to have to just play around with writing things down physically. I don't know. Does anybody else have a hard time trying to wrap their brain around using digital planners? Now, here's the thing. I've used planbook.com for 6 or 7 years, but I always write it down in a planner first. I always have my big planner that goes around everywhere with me. And if I'm at home and I think of something great, it goes in that planner. I'm just such an old teacher. Okay, you guys. So I think I'm going to start planning my day one. It is almost 2 o'clock. I have to take my dog to the vet for her checkup today. I'll try to post a picture of my baby. I'll try to post it right here. My precious Bella. She has an appointment this afternoon. So I'm going to start planning out day one, at least like a chunk in the morning. I'm going to look at that. And I'm going to start working on creating data notebooks for my students, because what I think I'm going to do, this is, I think, what our kindergarten is doing. They are planning out their first week, like with chunks of time where they can meet with students individually and do some assessments, rather than trying to plan a whole day in front of a computer. So I think that sounds like a really good idea. I can say, student A, I'm going to see you, like Monday will be, like a normal, hey, welcome to our class and the ins and outs of the system day. And then I think I'll tell parents, Tuesday, I'm going to create a block of time. We come together as a class from this time and this time, but from this time to this time, I want you to be doing this. And while you're doing that, I'm going to be pulling student A from 10 to 10:15 to do some assessments. 10:15 to 10:30 might be student B. And I'm just going to try to get some initial assessments done with my students, some like letter ID, see what they know with their letters, with their letter sounds, their sight words for first grade. I'm going to see if they know their kindergarten sight words. I'm going to see, I've got my packet right here that I do. So their sight words, their letter sounds. I'm going to see if they can do some math skills. I might try to get no, I won't do that. Yeah, so I think I might just do that. I'm going to set you down and I'll let you know what's going on. So we got a lot of little things done today. I had my meeting. I got, a couple of the chairs done. I think today was a lot more about getting my thoughts together. No matter how many years you've been teaching, it still feels like, what do I do at the beginning of the school year? It's like you got to get into your groove of things. So I feel like today I got my groove started. I'm going to work on my beginning of the year assessments, trying to get those in Google Slides tonight so that I can do those hopefully at least with some of my kiddos next week. I'm going to work on some beginning of the year PowerPoints. I'm going to work on some plans, and if I do any of that I feel like you guys will need to see, I'll either put it in this video or I'll probably just attach it to Thursday's video. But I think we're off to a good start. I don't know about being ready yet, but this year is such a different year. I don't know if there's any way that we all can be ready and prepare. So with that being said, I'm going to sign off for today, and I will see you guys in a couple days. Bye.